Hello again, it's Ashley. I am here with my boss. This is my director. His name is Eric Venable. I've worked here since July of 2016, so I've known him for about a year and a half now. So we'll be spending the next 20 minutes going over the questions, these 8 questions. So we can go ahead and get started. First question is, what do you believe are my greatest strengths?
Yeah. Greatest strengths. Ashley Ross's greatest strengths. There's a number of them. Uh, the first ones that jump out are really simple. They're in the sense are really easy to identify. Ashley's very thorough. Everything that she sets her mind to, um, she really does look to accomplish. And so there's this quality that she likes to bring to things. So just on her individual work, everything that we're doing within the ministry, one of her great qualities is she has great follow through. She's very trustworthy. So if you give her something, you know that she's going. Anytime we're talking about something as a team, she's going to do. She's going to do it. I'm talking about you in the third person when you're sitting next to me. So I'm talking to you, the camera, but and so on that level, and then as a team, as somebody on our team, there's a couple levels here. She nothing falls between the cracks with Ashley. She's very thoughtful in that way, and um, a lot of ministry is doing. So having somebody who brings that as a value, not just because of who they are, but that value then translates to everybody else on our team. And so on that thing, she really thinks deeply about the things that she's doing, um, and usually then follows up on things. So those are some of the initial qualities. Now, I think the next level is that um, you can have those qualities and then uh, be painful to work with, right? So then you're just like, oh, God. But she's the opposite, where it's been very interesting over the last year and a half we've known each other a little longer than that.
Yes.
Because you used to come by,
and volunteer.
yeah, and volunteer. And so, but what you notice is that the people that are close to Ashley, and to be specific on the team, they develop an incredibly high trust. And so, you have this skill set of how you think about ministry, but also how you get along with other people is just as important, if not more important. You can have great theology, and if you don't get along with people, it doesn't matter, right? You can have a great heart for people. So how she gets along with people, and who she is on a team, and most of ministry is who we are, what we do as a group. We don't make widgets, right? We actually create a space, and we create environments for people to experience God, to worship God, especially in ministry. So who you are has to be, that's your real theology. In that sense, it's the theology, that the praxis that you're living out. And so all that to be said is that everybody on the team just adores you, right? And they trust you in a deep way. They want to hear what you think about things. They um, uh, they personally like to be with you, like to connect with you, and you are Ashley is almost on a daily basis kind of the lone woman, right, in an organization, mostly with guys, and then we work with the people we're working with on the street, and the things are people are recovering addicts. So your ability to set boundaries, your ability to really do well, in the context of a bunch of dumb guys is is really impressive. But it's amazing how Jonathan, how Christoph, how some of our other staff people, how they trust you. So and so I'll probably revisit that point a little bit. But that has to do with the strength. You are able to get along really well with people, and you have ability to be so you're trustworthy with projects, but almost more importantly, I think that transcends to the team, and then so I think then your strengths, then really that really does translate to the other people that you work with. Yeah.
Okay, that's good. Thank you. Second question. If you could describe me in one word or with one image, what would that be and why?
Okay, one image. So um, I think the word I was thinking about words, um, but uh, I thought my thought is it doesn't capture all of it, but there's this idea of faithfulness. So and let me put a little um, uh, you know let me segment this a little bit. You're faithful to the people around you, but in ministry, um, it's very evident to see that you're really faithful to God. And so I was trying to think of what is the picture of something faithful, and every picture, every image, Ashley, was not like an image you'd be like. It's like you're you know, a beaver who's no, that you're the tortoise, and everything I came up with was like, this will not be a compliment. So, but so I came up. So that's the word. Uh, that's that word faithful. Um, but I do think that if I look at the ecosystem of what a beaver will do to a river, it'll make it into a pond. It will shape things, and there's kind of this work, this ethic, and it makes a whole ecosystem. Well, there's something faithful to you and how you work, but it also comes. It's the same thing. How you connect in your relationship to God, how you connect in your relationship to other people. It's all the same thing. And so there's this really high level of integrity that you bring to the team, but it's who you are. And so one of the great compliments is, therefore, I think that I say that because who you are and what you do, I think to me are always the same thing. They're interlocked together, and so that's why I was trying to, like, what's the picture of that? And every picture I have is really bad, but somebody will come up with a picture that will be better than the ones I just named. I'm so sorry.
A beaver. I like it though.
She's a beaver.
All right. And number 3, please share a story of a time when you saw me demonstrate growth and spiritual maturity.
Growth and spiritual maturity demonstrate. Well, I've seen like this area of growth, and most of it has to do around confidence. The places where I've seen. So I think now, just our background of working together, we've had a number of transitions, and I just watch you. You were like a snowball rolling down the hill all the time. So you get into something, and you just pick up momentum, and you take on more and more, and the things you're doing all of a sudden come to the surface and come to life. I've seen this within the way. So there's this confidence that I've seen you display with like the guys in our program, that you've gone from setting up boundaries with them, which in the beginning was good, to now to then teaching them, and now having a place where how you engage them it just keeps growing in maturity. And so I've watched your voice kind of become, you're kind of saying more profound things to them, but I think the first 6 months you were just getting used to it. I just remember thinking, okay, and set up really good boundaries. And now that you've established those boundaries, I'm watching you kind of appropriately go into the places of ministry. And you probably have the most difficult position of anybody to be able to do that. You have, right? There's so many different angles, but you set up constantly, and this is just in a work environment, that how you do ministry to the guys that are in front of us, and then how you keep those boundaries with them. And then you have like 4 other levels, which is you're a young woman, right? They're young men. They're coming in. Sometimes they just want attention from somebody. Sometimes they specifically want attention from you. And so you handle that so well. Just right. There's never a question, and I think the guys do too. And I think it was one of the first things we talked about. Like, this is one of the main things in the job. And so your gifts work into that, but you've really mastered it. The other, and the other thing is that um, as you've read the area and as you've gotten used to, uh, you know, the rhythm of what we do, the other area of maturity is I've watched you then start to think more deeply and more, how do we build like a system that will do this better? And then you just kind of go off and start doing it or thinking about it, right? And it's almost like there's sometimes a little El Nino brewing in your head, and you don't know about it. Then you go, I was thinking about this, and you just kind of come out with it. And I go, didn't know that you had thought that deeply about things. So now that has happened a few times. At first, it surprised me, but after this, now I expect if we start thinking of who else should we have, MOUs with members, or anything, how else we should use volunteers, that that you're thinking about it. So I've seen that a few times, where you take initiative and you go out and you just start. As that thing builds, you just start, the snowball starts getting bigger and bigger, and your influence starts doing that also.
Okay. So we have about 9 more minutes left, and 1, 2, 3, 4 more questions. The next question
That's for
is,
That's for me.
what are some areas you would recommend that I focus on in order to be better prepared for ministry?
Well, skip seminary, because I wish I could get my wedding back from seminary. No. I think I think the biggest ones are, this is going to dovetail with I think some of the other questions, is you are great on a team, and so what for you will be, how will you lead a team, right? Without trying to be somebody else, with being Ashley, how will you lead a team and direct people? Because right now you're you're the beloved person on our team, and so you know how to be on a team. So that, okay, what books would you read? What how would you think? How would you think about bringing a team together and managing almost every piece? Because that's going to be your next level. Is you're going to be I keep telling her she's going to have my job within days. Our new president walked in and went, "We have to keep her on." I go, "Yes, everybody sees it." So we feel like God's hands on you for that, and so I think that's one of the next pieces. And then, how do you dream about doing bigger and bigger ministry in your relationship with God? How do you think God? Where do you want us to use the resources we have, and how should we expand it in ways that will be, that will be sustainable, long term? So it's just starting something and having it stop.
It's really good. So the next question is, what is one word of advice that you can give me to help my calling? You kind of just gave me like.
Oh, it's that, and the other thing is that be strong and courageous. If God has your calling, don't, and He's called you to whatever He's calling you to, don't doubt it for a second. It's to keep going into it, and you don't have to lead as an extrovert if you're more introverted,
Mm-hmm.
but be confident in the call God has for you.
That's good. And then the number 6 is, in what roles or contexts do you believe I would serve best?
Yeah, I think I said in one thing. I think you being called into ministry, if God continues to call you into into a direct ministry, it's I think you're a really capable leader, and that's why I think your next steps are going to be going to manage more and more people. So whether that's directing, whether that's taking a position, a specific position of an area of passion or interest. But yeah, I do think it's going to be, the next level is going to be for you is going to be managing other people. And I think you do great at it.
I want to see that too one day. I don't see it yet, but one day I think I'll be great.
We all see it. So yeah.
Next question is, what is your hope or prayer for me in this season?
Oh, I think this is a season of like I think God is, it's the tempering season, right? It's the He's preparing you, and really defining like these are great things for it. And I've seen that you're finishing seminary, you're in a position that uses hopefully many of your gifts, but also part of your area of interest and passion. Um, and so yeah, so I think you continue to prepare, and what does that mean? And I always think of ministries like that in seasons, and when you go through that other season, like you'll have seasons of great growth, and then sometimes God will just pare things back, and that happens, with anything that you never get discouraged about that. But I think you're about to enter into your next season of growth, right?
Oh, that's good. All right, and the last question, is there anything that I did not ask you that you want to share?
Yes, there is.
Okay.
Well, part I would think that I think one of the areas of almost every place of our greatest weakness is our strength and excess,
Mm-hmm.
right? That's how I always think. If if you look at a lot of even biblical leaders, they were that kind of look at Peter, look at Moses. Their areas of great strength were also their greatest weaknesses too. Um, so uh, so my terminology is little Ashley. How's little Ashley doing? Right? How's Ashley doing? How's little Ashley doing? But little Ashley, like, does how? So going forward as a healthy leader, how does, and especially in ministry, and I think this will be intertwined with how you manage other people. Is how do you give yourself grace? Right? Are you harder? Are you harder on yourself than God's harder? Do you than God is on you? The Pharisees had literally higher standards than Jesus did. Right? So it's always easy to have a pharisaical higher standard. Now, I don't see that you have a pharisaical higher standard of yourself like that, but I do think that um, you you will really drive or push yourself, and sometimes not give yourself. You'll extend grace to other people. You can Ashley has a day off. So my question here was, what does how does God um, how does God love you? How do you love yourself, right? And how do you let how do you let God into those area, that deeper area of your life that He says, no, you're good. Whatever that would be, right? How does loving Ashley look for you today? And because I think those things will directly impact. And we think of management, the Drucker School of Management of just doing things, and there's technique to it, but the best stuff in you is just who you are that comes out, and so that's always going to be your litmus test. If you can love yourself, then you can really love other people, and that might be saying, no, I really need you to do this, and not just give them grace, but not give yourself grace, but in every place that as you work with people and work on teams, I think that's going to increase your ability to be, um, to continue to have a larger and larger influence.
That's good. Thank you.
Okay, so we have 1 minute left.
We do. We did great. Thank you. You did awesome.
Okay.
I really do appreciate you taking time out of your busy schedule to do this for me.
Are you kidding me? Yes.
All right. Thank you. That was all.
Okay.
Hello. I am back again. I am here with Christoph. Christoph and I work together here at City Team San Francisco. I've been working here since July of 2016, I believe. So I've known him for about a year and a half. We're going to be going over the questions for the interview. I've given them to him a little bit in advance, just a little bit in advance, and he's going to answer them within the next 20 minutes. So, just to start off, is there anything you'd like to say?
Hi, my name is Christoph, and I'm working for City Team San Francisco as the Operation and Learning Center Manager for around 3 years.
Cool. All right. So first question: what do you believe are my greatest strengths?
Greatest strength, well, there are multiple. Um, since we're here, I find out that you're a very good listener. So, when talking with staff around us, but also I observe a lot with the clients. You really listen to what they have to say and the demand. So, good listener. You really care about those guys' life and also caring about the ministry at large, meaning working hard on the client side, but also on all those volunteer side that you are really growing relationship wise and having the word out what we're doing, and just your job requires so many different, you're interacting with so many different people, and you really care about that. You're definitely reliable. That is, for anyone of a team, if we need anything done, any help, it would be here. We text a lot. We are not in the office, and you're always gonna be there to answer, and always the first one to offer prayers, and extremely reliable. And I can really see that you have the love of your neighbor, the love of the person around you. You know, is that guy coming in a Maserati up the street, or is a homeless,
Yeah.
extremely filthy, dirty, coming in here and have services? You will have the same love for anyone, which is uh, impressive and totally faithful for your work, and you're above and beyond what you're doing. You know what you hear and will bring to us. It's so during the interviews that we had hiring process, it was we did a great decision, definitely.
Thank you. Next question: if you could describe me in one word or with one image, what would that be and why?
Uh, that's a hard one because there's many coming up. I think the one would be, I'm really going back and forth between faithful and caring. That's the two huge one, and let's go with caring
Okay.
because caring would be englobe way more. Because I can see that you care extremely about your faith. You care extremely about the team, about what we are about the clients, about the people around us. So the word caring would be the one coming up to mind strongest.
Thank you. I like that. Eric said faithful, so
No way. Awesome.
That's funny. That those two.
Very good.
All right. Number 3 is please share a story of a time when you saw me demonstrate growth and spiritual maturity. The noise is because we
The
work on
street.
6th Street.
Yeah. So your growth is, it did not take you long to see what we are about, and your job is in has so many, we're a non-profit, small non-profit here in San Francisco. So our job goes, we have like 5 different titles, 5 different jobs, and you understood really fast what we're doing. And I saw how you took over like Saturday. It's a huge part that we gave out. We have all the services for the homeless and the volunteers coming in, how you organize that, but also how you shared it, your passion with the guys, with the clients that we have here. And every time there's a situation, you're gonna be there the next day and talk about it and explain. And real fast, you took over that role that we didn't really have, that was really missing. And you grew it. The hope is like a project, and you grew it to like now it's really well-oiled machine. It's Saturdays are way easier than they were in the past.
Cool. All right. I forgot which number we were on. Oh, I know. 4. What are some areas you would recommend that I focus on in order to be better prepared for ministry?
That's an easy one. Take more personal time.
I
Eric
knew
said
you
the
were
same.
No, but I knew you were going to say that.
This is my thing, because I think all of us, and I learned in my family to just, I have to be separate from work and take time off. And that's the one always hard when you
Yeah.
need to take time off. It's very important, because we need to recharge our battery. What we're doing, it's very big. We work with people with damaged life. We try to help those people in the in here as clients, but we need to help the people off the street. We need, so your compassion will take a toll, and you need to go away. You need also do something else. Even I know you're involved in church and help out there, even there, like something different and all of that, to be, if it is going to a movie, if it is going for a walk in the forest, or things like that, or just having a nice dinner with friends, take the time to do something different, recharge your batteries, and then come back. So for me, I have my weekends. I'm only coming in if it's extremely necessary, but if not, I will not come in, because I'm decided that, and I told my boss when I came here, it's important that it's open for my family. I cannot have that.
I have gotten better at this one
Yeah.
because of you, watching you do it.
Mhm.
Before I was working like all the time, and then watching how you recharge, and when you're home, you're really good at that boundary. I've watched that, and I've been trying to do it better because of
Mhm.
that. Setting up those boundaries between work and just play. So yes,
Mhm.
so I do thank you for that. Being able to see it and it look healthy. So that is a good one. Okay. The next one. What is one word of advice that you can give me to help my calling?
One word advice is basically continue what you're doing, you know, and especially what I learned for you, continue what you're doing and listening, what God, have that relationship with God.
Mm-hmm.
When we talk about this and that, we next future job or things like, it's always, hey, I would like to do this now. However, I'm going to listen what God's telling me to do, and that's extremely important. Because if we're not doing our will, we're just doing it whatever we want to do. We're doing it for a little while, then it's gonna, not work out. So I think continue what you're doing. It's apparently working out very well for you, and it's healthy.
All right, next question. In what roles or contexts do you believe I would serve best?
Well, the thing is, you're very talented and gifted in so many different ways that serve best is hard, because you're very good at organizing, you teach, and you can direct, you can supervise, you have interns now, and you're on top of all of things. So I strongly believe that one day you're going to be able to run a place like this. I would not be surprised. And I think that place is going to be lucky to have you. Um, but one specific, I don't know.
That's good. That's good stuff, though. I gotta prepare for that. I don't
Yeah.
see it yet, but.
Well, but all you're doing here is preparing for it.
Yeah. All right. Next question. What is your hope or prayer for me in this season?
My hope and prayer for you is not answering the phone right now. It is that you really find a Christian man to share the love of Christ with, and not whoever, someone very strongly rooted in his faith, that you guys can share that. That's my prayer and what I want for your life.
That's good. That's what I want for my life too. So Jesus, if you're listening, we have two people praying for that.
Yep.
All right. And then lastly, is there anything that I did not ask you that you want to share?
I don't think so, but I think that you are the place where you're supposed to be. You know, I don't think that's a place for the rest of your life, which is a good thing. You know, learn and continue. And you're an amazing person doing a lot of good on this city, which is sometimes a sad city where we are right now. And I encourage you to continue. Thank you for being part of the great team we are.
Thank you. I would not be able to do it without any of you. You guys are literally the best group of people I've ever worked with, and I learn so much from each of you every day. Like, I learn boundaries and hard work from you, and I learn grace from Jonathan, and I learn some of Doug's wisdom. Sometimes it's like out of the box, and you're like, I never thought of it that way. And then Eric is like, I learned leadership skills from him. So to be able to work with such great people is amazing, and I'm very appreciative to be able to take all of this in.
Cool. I'm here.
All right. We did it in 11 minutes
Yes.
and 50 seconds. This is great. Two introverts coming together answering questions. All right.